Swallowed star. 32 palaces were glowing gold, and were floating in the endless abyss world. Among these palaces, 23 of them were covered in white light barriers, but the rest of them did not have these barriers. Howl. Ao. The beasts everywhere all looked up at the floating palaces, almost as though they were attracted by them. So. The many beasts all flew into the sky towards the palaces. Pine. 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 The beasts clashed into the white light that enveloped the palaces and fell straight down, smashing into the ice layer and splitting it apart. These beasts then stupidly stood back up, and a group of them actually jumped up again and flew towards the white light. Clash. Fall. Stand back up and jump again. Clash. Fall again. Some of the stupid beasts seemed to have only muscle in their brain, only after consecutively failing many times did they finally give up. Ice Bear Luo Feng too looked up at the 32 palaces. 32 palaces, 23 of them have white light. Luo Feng looked up. The beasts were attracted toward these 23 lit palaces, like moths to a flame. As for the other 9 that didn't have a protective layer over them, the beasts that flew towards them easily passed right through. I'll give it a shot. Luo Feng prepared his fat and bulky ice bear body and jumped. So. One could only see the gold light within the palaces covered in white light, one could barely see anything else within. Pine. The ice bear clashed into the light and fell, landing with a crash into the ice layer, before slowly climbing back up. The strength of the barrier is shocking, my clash didn't even affect it at all. He was shocked within, even when the sector lord level beasts crashed into it, it didn't even affect it. So. Luo Feng once again jumped up, his one jump was a few hundred km high. This time however, he headed towards one of the 9 palaces that wasn't enveloped in white light. Resplendent gold light. Who? Ice Bear Luo Feng headed straight into that majestic floating palace. The entire palace was built simply. At the center was the majestic palace, and around it was a rock plaza, where beasts were casually lumbering about, some even standing within the plaza. The surface of the black stones even had strange engravings within them, these engravings were all in gold. Countless gold engravings were imprinted within the walls of the palace and the plaza. The glaring gold light shot out from these engravings. What mysterious law engravings! Luo Feng looked at them and felt a sense of wonder. Babata, record them. Understood. At this time, all the walls of the palace and the plaza suddenly shot out a dreamy light, countless amounts of light passed Luo Feng and swiftly gathered within the palace, forming an incomparably mysterious engraving picture. After it had completed, it became a layer of white light. This white light enveloped the entire palace. What? Luo Feng was shocked as he turned to look. Pine. Pine. He saw a few beasts jump at the light from outside and crashed into it before falling. Before, there were only 23 of the 32 palaces that were covered in light. All of a sudden, this palace has been covered too. Ice Bear Luo Feng looked about, the beasts in the plaza were either still roaming about, sleeping, or just messing around, they didn't seem to even notice the suddenly light. Ice Bear Luo Feng carefully headed towards the light and reached the side of the plaza, extending his claw in. Chi! His claw passed right through without any resistance. Ah! Luo Feng relaxed within, it stops outsiders from getting in, but there is no resistance from within, I seem to be able to leave without any resistance. Luo Feng kept his claw and turned to look at the huge palace. The plaza was about 10 kilometers in length and width, the palace was about a quarter of the plaza. Howl! A black shadow flashed. Boom! Something smashed onto the beast's body. This over 100 m long beast was knocked so hard it immediately exploded. Countless ice shards scattered all over, while some bits passed the light barrier before flying back out. Luo Feng was shocked as he held his breath and watched. Stone life form. Luo Feng was shocked. There were many life forms in the universe. Metal, plant, flesh and blood, energy. What was life? Anything with intellect was considered life. And these beasts, the special beings produced in Demon Mountain's environment, couldn't even be considered life forms. Because they had no ability to think at all. There are stone life forms in the palace. However, from the information the Virtual Universe Company provided, they said there were only beasts here. That stone gorilla beast, however, that gaze, it's definitely a proof of intelligence. Luo Feng was shocked. One could easily tell intelligence from a simple gaze. Luo Feng observed patiently within the plaza, not daring to barge in. Within 3 days' time, he had seen 18 beasts attempt to enter. However, at the entrance, that stone gorilla would knock and break them apart. I have a feeling there should be a big secret within the palace. Luo Feng thought. The gold light. The mystical gold engravings he didn't understand. The mysterious stone gorilla guarding the door. And this palace that floated within a nest of countless beasts. Everything all hinted at the palace having a huge secret. Any fool would be able to deduce at least that much. However, how do I enter? Luo Feng looked at the entrance. If I just go, what happens if I get killed just like that? Rumble. The entire abyss world shook violently. A terrifying ripple spread in all directions, hitting the white light that covered the palace Luo Feng was in. What's going on? Luo Feng turned to look outside. Howl. Howl. Ga. Tens of thousands of beasts roared. The powerful explosion caused an entire uproar. You low-level beings dare mess with me? A voice like a god resounded throughout the space. Senior, even though these undying beasts aren't much threat, if they stick together it's too troublesome. Let's hurry and enter the inheritance palace. Another explosion, another booming voice. All right. Out of the 32 inheritance palaces, only 8 are empty, the rest all have people in them. That's strange, the Great Union's information stated that 9 were empty. Doesn't matter, anyway there's just 2 of us. Whether it's 8 or 9, we are okay. The 2 voices resounded from 2 different places. As the land and skies boomed, the countless beasts roared and howled. The 2 powerful silhouettes rushed towards 2 palaces without white lights from 2 different places. Ice Bear Luo Feng stayed in the plaza. The howls and roars from outside slowly grew weaker, quickly silencing completely, everything returned to its original calm state. However, Luo Feng was uneasy within. There's actually people. Many thoughts flashed in his mind. Inheritance Palace. 8. 9. The 2 voices earlier, should be 2 absolute warriors. At least Undyings. Great Union. What organization is that? Luo Feng was shocked. The information the Great Union gave was that there were 9 empty. When I came earlier, there were indeed 9 of the 32 that weren't enveloped in white light. Don't tell me, the moment someone enters, the palace will immediately raise a white light. Indeed. Just as he had flown into the plaza earlier, only then did the white light envelope the palace. Is the palace able to recognize the difference between me and the other beasts? Luo Feng looked shocked at the palace ahead. Even Undyings and even more powerful beings. Luo Feng calmly stood in the plaza. Obviously. He had arrived at the mysterious core of Demon Mountain, Inheritance Palace. And this place, accurately speaking, had 32 inheritance palaces. Then, at this time, including himself, there should be 26 with people in them. Looks like this inheritance palace hasn't been a secret amongst the upper echelons of the universe. They actually send undyings here to accept the inheritance. Luo Feng thought, however, to accept it, it seems like not anyone can simply enter. After all, even my teacher Hu Yanbo hadn't heard of its existence. Indeed. These sort of universe secret areas, to just come across once, undyings had to pay a hefty price, much more than even Primal Chaos City. I must be lucky to have been able to get here. Luo Feng looked at the palace before him. How do I enter? Luo Feng pondered for a while before swiftly making a decision. Who? A human Luo Feng appeared before the ice bear. My Masha clansman will carry the core and remain outside while my earth body will enter. His eyes gleamed, in a flash he rushed towards the entrance. Howl. When the beasts in the plaza saw the human Luo Feng, they immediately roared. The beasts had extremely low intelligence, something that only the special environment of Demon Mountain could create. They only existed to kill the intruders. Hence, when they saw a human suddenly appear in the plaza, they naturally went into a frenzy. Howl. Ong. The beasts became blurred images and rushed towards Luo Feng, wanting to tear him to shreds. And the human Luo Feng that appeared beside the ice bear had rushed straight towards the entrance the moment he appeared. His Domain Lord level 9 cloud contact vine-covered foot stomped the ground, and with a bang, the ground around the plaza shook, and he became a shooting star that rushed towards the entrance. So. As he rushed, a large group of angry beasts howled and chased behind him. Rumble. The black long rod suddenly appeared, just that one. At the entrance, the tall and sturdy stone gorilla wielded the thick black long rod like a baseball player. He created whirlwinds as he waved it. Pang! 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 Powerful ice beasts were immediately shattered, as large amounts of ice shards scattered far into the distance and knocked right out of the white light. Howl! Ao! The beasts all stared fiercely at Luo Feng, madly rushing towards him. However, the stone gorilla stood at the entrance, his aura strong and firm. No matter how many came, it didn't matter. These beasts are really stupid. Standing there and gazing at the large amounts of beasts rushing over, Luo Feng exclaimed. The moment they saw me, they all madly rushed over. Even after knowing there's no hope, they still try. Luckily the light protects the palace, making the trillions of beasts outside unable to enter. At that time, the plaza was left with nothing but broken ice shards, with only one beast remaining, the ice bear. All the other beasts were smashed by the stone gorilla after they madly rushed the entrance. The palace was tall and majestic, almost like a mountain. Luo Feng seemed small within. The stone gorilla looked at Luo Feng, hugging his black long rod, and stopped moving in his corner. How strange. Luo Feng looked at the scenery filled with black fog. Babada, have you discovered the mystery of this place? Unable to detect. My scanning signal has been completely jammed. Babada said. What? Luo Feng was shocked. Babada's scanning device was extremely expensive, even though its area was small, at only 20 kilometers. It was something Hu Yanbo had used in dangerous secret regions. It was usable in many secret regions. However, within this inheritance palace, the signal was jammed. Rumble. A booming sound could be heard. Within the palace, rumbling occurred within the black fog area, after which a mysterious sound could be heard, Ong, Chong, Wu. The combination of the sounds formed a very mysterious noise, making Luo Feng feel incredibly comfortable. This is it. Luo Feng thought, back when he saw the 32 palaces, he heard this sound. The sound reverberated throughout. The palace changed greatly. A broken piece of black stone suddenly floated before him with peculiar words. The strokes were similar to the engravings earlier. Luo Feng didn't recognize the words at all. This. He was shocked as he looked at the mysterious words on the stone. I've never even seen these words before, yet I can clearly understand what they mean. It's unbelievable. The words continued to appear and disappear. After a while, Luo Feng finally understood all of what it said. Demon Note General. Inheritance. 157,672. His eyes were filled with shock. The mysterious words that appeared on the stone, in summary, said this. Since the birth of this demon note inheritance forbidden land, you are the 157,672nd who has come to receive this, those that have the right to receive the demon note inheritance. Any life form with a soul can receive it. Demon Note General, unique and unmatched. Since the birth of the universe, it's been set that there would only be one. When the time actually comes that one is able to completely receive the full inheritance, becoming a Demon Note General, this entire forbidden land will crumble. Puny life form. Work hard. Work hard to become a Demon Note General, follow the inheritance steps on the side, slowly climb the path to becoming an absolute warrior in the universe. In the palace. The black mist rumbled about, that mystical sound reverberated throughout the huge palace. Simultaneously, the changes that kept occurring within the palace produced a 3-li-wide black stone staircase at the end of the black mist. Every flight had peculiar engravings, glowing gold. Human Luo Feng stood before the stairs and was silent for a while. Demon Note Official. Any life form, as long as he has a soul, has the right to become a Demon Note Official. Luo Feng looked at the mysterious stairs that formed from the parted black mist, feeling awe within. The universe was mysterious. This, Luo Feng had known before. The human race had a total of 1,008 universe countries, every one of them incredibly vast. The leaders of these countries were invincible and eternal beings, and there were even more powerful beings that created the virtual universe. However, humanity was but one of the trillions of races in the universe. However, it was one of the top. There were a few pinnacle races. And also some that may not be considered pinnacle, but were in fact very strong, like the Masha clan. In terms of clan strength, it was probably in the top 10,000. Like the Golden Horned Beast, in terms of strength it ranked one of the top. However, their numbers were simply too little, but that didn't mean they were weak. Trillions of races. Endless universe. Countless secret areas. Demon Note Inheritance. Who left it? Luo Feng looked about, seeing the words of that displayed earlier. The touch of humans here is very obvious. Obviously it was left behind by some great being. From what I know, Demon Mountain had been here long before the Virtual Universe Company had taken control of the Absolute Beginning region. Demon Mountain's history was extremely ancient, just like Blood River World. The universe secret regions were very mysterious. Any resistance would be crushed by the huge power of the virtual universe. However, the absolute beings of the universe, even though they back off before the Virtual Universe Company, it didn't mean they were weak. From what I heard from the two Undyings earlier, the virtual universe would arrange for large amounts of Undyings to be stationed in Demon Mountain. Many thoughts ran in his mind. Even Babata didn't even know anything about the mysteries of Demon Mountain. Obviously, this secret belongs only to the upper echelon of the universe, even more mysterious than Primal Chaos City. Demon Note General. This inheritance forbidden land, the moment one life form completes the inheritance, the entire space would crumble. Demon Note General, there's only one in the universe. Luo Feng nodded. From what it sounded like, there would only be one in the entire universe. He would indeed be an absolute warrior in the universe. There's actually been hundreds of thousands who've come before, yet no one has actually completed. Luo Feng shook his head, not thinking anymore. So, with a step, he reached the mysterious staircase. When his boot landed on the first flight, immediately the surrounding scenery grew hazy. Luo Feng couldn't see the scenery around him anymore, only the never-ending staircase ahead. Simultaneously, mysterious information began to permeate his mind. Accept the inheritance. Train in the inheritance. Every level will bring new information. When you reach the end of the stairs, you'll become a great being of the universe, Demon Note General. The voice rumbled in his mind, the mysterious training methods continuously flooded in. In an instant, Luo Feng was subdued by the techniques. I feel that this nameless inheritance technique is comparable to the 9-universe tablet. The tablet entices people to study it, and this is a completely detailed technique. Just this one technique alone is priceless. Luo Feng was excited. His eyes gleamed strongly. In his mind he had the golden horned beast's inherited memories, and he had seen the treasure trove of the virtual universe company, countless techniques from everywhere. And because his perspectives were wide, he could instantly deduce. This mysterious technique definitely belonged to the highest of inheritance, an inheritance along with the universe laws and paths itself. In an instant, he was completely immersed in the training of the technique. Just who left behind this technique, such a terrifying technique? If I can make progress in it, becoming an eternal and invincible being in the universe definitely wouldn't be an exaggeration. Luo Feng didn't think much more about it. He suppressed his mad glee and completely immersed himself in the training. Virtual universe, especially open space. Howl. Completely green dragons snaked through the space, on. The beautiful 7-colored wings could be seen everywhere. Within this huge space, with a glance, one could spot tens of millions of different types of mystical beasts, some beautiful, some violent. Tens of millions of beasts flew about. A completely red majestic group of palaces floated in mid-air, within one of them. Pa! A tall and sturdy man with a single silver horn covered in purple armor fiercely slammed the wine glass in his hand. The translucent glass flew hard onto the floor and burst apart. The man's expression was struggled, his eyes like two eternal burning stars. He raged and roared, "How do they think that I'm a pushover? I've waited so long for the Demon Note Mountain inheritance, for my student Mist Emperor to get a chance. And you are telling me it's gone?" Night. An old white-haired man bowed and said, "It's not that it's gone, but he'll have to wait for the next batch." Next batch? Bullshit. The silver-horned man roared, "Each batch of the Demon Note Mountain inheritance is 10,081 eras apart. And every batch has at most 32 people. I spent so much treasure and invested so much. Finally I got picked and acquired a slot. But you are telling me, there's an anonymous unknown life form that took one of the 32 palaces, and you lack one slot. How is it my business there's one lacking? Why take away my student's chance? Why not take away others?" The silver-horned man was incomparably angry. Night. The white-haired old man bowed. When the ballot was cast, Mist Emperor was the 32nd, right at the back, hence the people above decided. "Get out, get out." The silver-horned man violently waved. The white-haired old man bowed, not daring to speak anymore. He turned and left immediately. The silver-horned man's expression was struggled. For a knight like him, one of the great eternal beings of humanity, there was hardly anything that made him feel cheated, but this time. Just who is it? Who took my student's slot? The man raged. Demon Note inheritance. It was tens of millions of times more valuable than the chance to study in the Primal Chaos City, because the Primal Chaos tablets were after all for people to study and comprehend the laws. The demon note inheritance, however, was a solid, incredibly detailed training method. As long as one followed the training, his powers would grow by leaps and bounds. Wait till the next batch. 10,081 years later. The silver-horned man got angrier the more he thought about it. His disciple Mist Emperor was an emperor undying. To become a knight was extremely difficult. However, through the demon note inheritance, on a certain level of degree, it would greatly increase his chances of becoming a knight. Right now he didn't know who took his student's chance, making him wait over 100 million years. The pinnacle beings and their matters, Luo Feng definitely didn't know. He only knew he had to grab his opportunities and go train. Within the Inheritance Palace, Inheritance Staircase. This Supreme Demon Note Manual, according to the information that Luo Feng received from the first flight, was mainly split into two parts. One was basics. Two was the Demon Note technique. Of which the basics portion's 99% was mostly making a solid foundation. Once that was done, the Demon Note technique would be easy to train. The basics here referred to spirit energy amplitude. For example, when Luo Feng controlled one flying blade, his strength in attacking with that blade could reach a certain number. And his limit was, simultaneously controlling 78 blades, all 78 of them reaching max power. This made his amplitude 78. Back when Luo Feng was on Earth and he was still weak, he could simultaneously control about 10 or so blades at max power. Soul had the spirit energy amplitude. Body had the strength amplitude. The undying altar measured the strength amplitude. Normal strength amplitudes could reach 100, that would be perfectly controlling one's every bit of energy. When one reaches 100 in that aspect, that would be the normal limit. Same theory. The spirit energy amplitude, to be able to control 100 flying blades with every one of them reaching max power, that was the normal limit too. However, these are under normal circumstances. The body's strength could be risen multiple times. In theory, 100 was the limit, however that was the normal limit. Through special techniques, treasures, all these could raise that limit. And these additions were incredibly valuable in the universe. Natural ability strengthen affected the body and soul, basically everything. The golden horned beast's soul amplitude was currently 78, however once it used its natural ability, its power would rise a few times over. And this Supreme Demon Note Manual, was something like deities of the world from its memories, and even more powerful. Once one had great progress in deities of the world, it would raise one's powers by 27 times. However, Supreme Demon Note Manual was much stronger. This was an extreme inheritance that aimed at breaking all limits. What a mysterious anomaly. Even stronger than deities of the world, this is heavenly. Luo Feng opened his eyes and looked at the many levels of steps ahead of him. With a glance, they reached into space itself. He took a deep breath. With a step, he flew to the second flight. When he landed on the second flight, incredibly detailed technique immediately poured into his mind. Continue training. Day after day. Level after level. In this inheritance staircase that stretched to space, Luo Feng progressed. In the vast universe, over 1 trillion years, hundreds of thousands of different life forms had all come to receive the inheritance. However, not a single one of them could finish the entire process. Who knows how long this thing will take? Opportunities like these don't come easy, I cannot miss it. Luo Feng was almost like a starving beggar eating a meal in a long time, madly immersed in his training. The more he trained, the more he felt his consciousness amplitude rise, quickly exceeding 100, this normal limit continued to rise further. It was heavenly. I only have this one chance to train. I'll train as much as I can, maybe I'll make great progress. No matter, if I don't give it a shot, how will I forgive myself? When Luo Feng was within the core of Demon Note Mountain receiving the inheritance, the assassins sent by official Pu from the 1000 Star sect were troubled. 6 months later. Virtual universe, on an island specially for the 9-star warriors to stay. On that island, a group of palaces took up an extremely large space. It was the reputable headquarters of the 1000 Star sect in the virtual universe. In a particular palace, God, 2 sector lords and 2 domain lords bowed respectfully. The shockingly beautiful Pu's long hair flowed, an absolute beauty. She sat in the throne, leaning on the back and looking below. You 4 haven't discovered the target? Yes, God. The 4 were nervous. The 4 were from the initial 6 cent, the other 2 had already died within Demon Note Mountain. Useless things. The absolute beauty snorted coldly. I'll give you another half a year of time. I hope you won't disappoint me. Yes. The 4 had cold sweat beading from their foreheads. Time passed and in an instant, they had already spent a year within Demon Note Mountain, and in that year, another domain lord of the group died. Because he was hit by demon notes, he unconsciously became a zombie. The final 3 survivors all left Demon Note Mountain. Congratulations, you 3 have survived for a year within Demon Note Mountain. You have the right to enter our virtual universe company. The troop stationed at Demon Note Mountain from the virtual universe company, the lowest status of the group, swiftly went to receive the 3 survivors. Ba Yan and the other 1000 Star sect warriors glanced at each other, helpless. Bring the 3 of them here. A voice resounded in that staff's ears. Yes, official Pu. The staff immediately brought Ba Yan and the others to her shrine. Deep in the shrine in a hall, Pu lay in the throne, her jade-green tail meandered about in the throne, her eyes gazing down below at the shifty trio. God. The 3 knelt down. Pu waved her hand and immediately forced the space ring off the domain lord's fingers, forcefully breaking the soul imprint and retrieving the E9 grade laser gun. God, the target is only a universe level 9, and we haven't discovered him in a year, and he hasn't come out. It's very likely he was killed by others within. Or he was hit by the demon note and turned into a zombie. The strongest of the lot, Sector Lord Level 9 Ba Yan spoke. Let's hope so. Pu nodded, her gaze sweeping past the 3. Their eyes immediately became rigid. After which, Pu Tong, Pu Tong, Pu Tong, they fell on the floor, dead. However, you all know too much, you have to die. Pu said coldly, sending people to kill an important genius of the virtual universe company. The moment she was discovered, she, an official level undying, even if she wasn't killed, she would be locked in the space hell. A year. That punk should be 80 to 90% dead. Pu muttered softly, after which she smiled charmingly. The space around seemed to burst in colors suddenly.